I will start. Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Bradford, owner of Nomadic Travel Company. And tonight we're going to talk about our upcoming Galapagos trip in October. And I'm going to attempt to share my screen. I have just some notes to go over with everyone before Stephanie starts her fabulous presentation. So give me a minute to figure out how to share my screen.
No problem.
Can everyone see this? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, I'm getting better at it. So, first of all, yep, I wanted to talk. I know a lot of you are on the extension, but this is for the people going right. This first part is for the people going right into the trip. Closer in, we'll probably have more information on the extension. So don't worry about it. We'll make sure all your questions are answered and we'll take care of all the details. There's nothing for you to do except get excited and start thinking about what you're going to pack. So anyway, just a reminder to keep, that we'll be looking at the COVID restrictions all until everyone departs. So just, just remember to bring your vaccine card and your passports, and if you need to be tested before you leave the US, then I'll help you with that as well, where to go, what kind of test to get, and so forth. And then your final documents will be mailed directly to you probably about 2 to 3 weeks before the trip. Stephanie, you might know since you went on Lindblad 2 years ago. Do you remember when you got your documents? Was it about 2 weeks before?
Yes. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, they'd only do that because if there's any last minute changes, they can have the correct information to you. They'll have the fabric luggage tags and some ribbons with instructions on, what to attach where and when. And then always remember the flight times are subject to change, especially right now. It's been brutal in the travel industry, just brutal. So we'll just remember to look at your flights a few days before you leave, just to make sure you're leaving on the right time. And I encourage everybody to check in online within 24 hours. Make sure they have your phone number, your email address. So if there's any last minute changes, you're aware of that as well. Just about everybody has done their own flights for various reasons. So just let's remember to verify your flights and make sure you're on that plane. Our host hotel in Guayaquil for the pre and post is at the Oro Verde, and it's about 20 minutes from the airport. The hotel does offer a complimentary shuttle. I emailed them today to find out if it's 24 hours. If it's not, and you can't make the group transfer, it's so simple in Guayaquil. I can set up a private transfer. It's only about $15 for up to 3 people in the car. So $5 a piece. Somebody will be waiting there at the airport with your name on a sign, and it's easy peasy. Can't get lost. And they do recommend that over doing a taxi, unless it's a taxi that's approved by the airport. So that would be my recommendation, is the setup that I could set up a transfer you ahead of time. Once at the hotel, they will right now this of course will probably change before October. But right now they're asking you to go directly to your room, where there's going to be, the floor is only Lindblad cruise guests. So you'll be in your own little bubble right when you get to the hotel. And at that time, more information will be provided to you. So again, just to reiterate, we can either put you with the Lindblad transfers, depending on what time you get in, or the hotel has the free shuttle, or I can set up a private transfer for you. Just don't use an unauthorized taxi service. The next day after breakfast, you'll be transferred to your flight to the Galapagos. And then once you get to the airport or to the Galapagos, you will immediately transfer to the ship. And the tour leader will have we call them the domestic tickets for the Guayaquil or Quito to the Galapagos airline tickets there on your tour. So you don't have to worry about, you don't even need to know what time the flight is because they'll handle all that for you. A few things about the flight. They are concerned a little bit about weight and so forth for the small planes and also the ship. So try to pack light. Your one checked bag cannot exceed 50 pounds and your carry-ons restricted to 22 pounds. They typically don't weigh your carry-on, but sometimes they can. And you don't want to have to pay for a second bag because that gets really expensive. There's some transit cards and park fees and so forth, but all those will be taken care of by your guide and they'll provide the proper paperwork for you as well. You don't need to worry about any of that. But I made some notes here of what it is and you can read that. Another thing they do on the plane, when I went to the Galapagos, I don't know if they did it with you, Stephanie, but they did spray the overhead bins just to get rid of bugs and so forth. So if you have any, first of all, don't bring any food. They don't allow off-island food in the Galapagos because they don't want to bring in any pests, anything that can destroy the fragile environment. Bars, power bars, wrapped power bars, things like that are okay. But they do spray the inside of the cabin with some spray to kill any bugs or anything that might be on the luggage in the overhead. So we'll have you'll have your masks anyway. So it's a good time to put your masks on. And another thing I do too, and I still do when I fly, even though I've been vaccinated, I wear safety goggles. And I would definitely recommend wearing those in the airport and on the airplane, since you can still pick up COVID if, you may not have bad symptoms, but you can still pick it up. So just be careful, about 2 weeks before your trip, try to, not go out to dinner or do anything risky, maybe have your groceries delivered again. And then, be careful at the airport and on the plane, wear your safety goggles and masks. Use the KN95 masks. I'm going to do it forever because I liked not getting colds and the flu and all that the past
Yeah.
year. It's been really nice. So I still wear my mask in the grocery store, even though I've been vaccinated, because I just don't want to get sick, period. And to me, it's really not a bother. I don't mind wearing the mask. And the KN95s, they kind of point out, so they do give you a lot of breathing room. But anyway, if all this is still a concern before you go in October, we'll probably have another last minute get together and we can go over some further recommendations as well. Not to scare you, but it's really nice just to be healthy when you travel. Let's see, lunch, of course, when you get on board, and welcome briefings. And then the last day, October 30th, after breakfast, after you disembark, they're going to go up to see the tortoises, which is really fun. And then off to the airport for your return flight to Guayaquil. They talk about gratuities. If you'd like to leave a gratuity there, I recommend $200 per guest per week for the ship, and it's divided equally. So that's not per person, that's for the whole staff. And then once you get to Guayaquil, you'll be transferred to the hotel, the whole group. And again, they ask you to remain in your rooms, but they'll probably have their own floor again. And then they'll have a final dinner get together. And then, you can really leave anytime, probably after 11 p.m. that night, just depending on where you're going and your flights and so forth. I know there's been a lot of flight changes, but I think everyone's probably leaving the next morning, so you can get a good night's sleep and depart.
No, we're actually leaving at 2 a.m. or something.
You decided on the 2 a.m.
Well, actually, it got decided for us, and I think that's
Gonna
what the
go with it?
airline moved it. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, you can get a couple hours of sleep, a couple hours of rest. Go to bed early, right after dinner. So again, the courtesy shuttle at the hotel, or let me know if you want a private transfer. And then as again, we get closer, I'll let you know what the hotel says about if they run the shuttle 24 hours. My bet is they probably do because there's so many flights. Most of the flights to the States leave like at 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning. I'd say the majority, 80% of them.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of them get in late. So my guess is that they do, but I can't, of course, say that until I hear back from them. And of
So
course,
can we assume that the hotel shuttle will have a shuttle at those times?
that's what I'm waiting to find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But even then, sometimes it is easier to have the private transports, especially if there's a few of you,
Mm,
for $15 and then, or for $15 for 2 or 3 people to have
do
somebody
it.
there waiting for you
Yeah,
is nice instead of, oh, where's the shuttle leave from? And, you know,
it sounds
know,
like a,
yeah.
Yes.
And then also, but we would want to do that the last minute because there's going to be probably more flight changes. And
that's
of
right.
course, make sure your medication and anything that you don't want to lose goes in your carry-on and not in your checked luggage, because they can disappear. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So make sure anything that you have to have, especially the first few days. I always bring a change of clothes, the things that, the lotion I like to have and toothbrush, things like that. And just have a great trip. So things for you to do right now. I have been getting conflicting answers on the snorkeling mask. I know a lot of people wear glasses. So my recommendations, if you can, purchase a mask because it's good to have anyway. Snorkeling is a great sport. You can do it at any age. You'll have that mask forever. So it would be a good investment. But they are saying they do have some, so you could take a chance. But if you're really, really counting on the snorkeling, I would just be prepared with your own mask. And
Can I
then
ask
when
a question on that?
yeah,
So are you, I can't, because of the pictures, I can't see the whole sentence, but is that if you wear glasses you need to
yes,
bring? But otherwise, if you don't wear glasses, they provide all the snorkeling equipment?
exactly.
Okay,
And the
gotcha.
wetsuits. Yep.
Okay. And what about for scuba diving as well?
No, that would be your own. Well, you do have to be a certified diver.
Right. So my son is going to take is going to get a certification at the PETI certification, international, and he'll have gone on an open dive and all that. Will that be enough for him to be able to scuba dive when he's there? It should be.
Yeah, I'd have to check on that. And if they're even offering it right now. Let me check on that.
And then exactly I'm assuming that, is it through a third party then that he would have to dive with, or it should be part of the cruise? Part of
Yeah,
the,
I know they have specific dive cruises, so they might have the gear on board. But let me make sure that it's being offered.
okay, great, thank you.
Yeah. But if he's staying in Ecuador for a month, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Um,
When I was on this trip in 2019, scuba diving was an option, but there were only 4 people who were certified. And they brought a ton of gear with them, so I'm not sure if any gear was provided. I would assume they have basic gear, so people don't have to travel with that.
Yeah, I can't imagine. How is he going to bring all that stuff with him?
Right.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
know I'm a
if you could-
I'm a certified diver, and I know that we had our own masks, snorkels, and fins because those are really important that they fit you correctly. It's life and death. So I know he'll have to have his own mask, snorkel, and fins.
Oh,
But well, I shouldn't say that. I'll have to check with Lindblad on that.
yeah, if you could find out all the details, that would be awesome. Thank
But
you.
if he's going to get his certification, he'll want to have that. Probably invest in good mask, snorkel, and fins.
Yeah, but I think he eventually would, but I think if they have all that stuff, it would be a lot easier to not have to take it down to
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Ecuador.
And then, so I have that written down and I'll find out. And then of course, just keep me updated with your flight information. like to keep track of that. And if you have not logged into your Lindblad account, please go ahead and do that. I sent everybody a link. If you need me to send it again, let me know. I can easily send that again. And just check your passport one more time because passports are taking forever right now. Make sure it's valid through May 1st, 2022. If it's not, if you find it is expiring, let me know right away and you want to do an expedited passport. And we may even have to get, this state senator involved in that because it's really taking 4 to 5 months typically right now. Everybody's traveling, which is good. And then just a reminder, everybody must have medical evacuation. I've pretty much been keeping it up with everyone on that. I think everyone has it right now or some sort of coverage. And again, everything's, I think I misspelled that. Everything is subject to change and just assume it will change. And the final itinerary will be finalized a few weeks prior of where they're going and so forth. But again, it's always subject to change. And then just have fun and read all the interesting information on your cruise portal. Lots of great reading information.
Is that on the email that you sent us, the cruise portal?
Yes,
Okay.
that was the link where you fill out the forms and so forth.
Right, okay.
And here's my contact information if you don't have it. I think everyone does, but just in case.
Have we asked Nancy about the possibility of being quarantined on the boat?
Oh, yeah.
I sent you an email on that.
Oh, you did? Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yep. So what had happened last March, they did keep everyone on the ship because of what was going on, I think for an extra week or two, and they covered the whole cost.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of
So
people,
even though the fine print says we'll be responsible for the cost, we won't be?
if it's on the ship.
Right.
they-
That's what I mean, on the
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah. But if it's off, at the hotel or something like that, that might be a different story, but
Yes.
yeah, we're gonna
All right.
hope for the best anyway.
You're the best.
Does our insurance,
No sense even mentioning it.
would our insurance help with that?
Yep, that's another reason why travel insurance is very important.
Yeah,
And things like that. I mean, it could be anything,
yeah, it could be
not even COVID related.
some surprise.
I know. But nobody's going to get sick because they're going to be home for a couple weeks, laying low, and then they're going to have their mask.
We're gonna be so healthy.
Yeah, no, when I went, actually, I went on Croatia a few weeks ago on a small ship that I had chartered, and somebody did get sick, but it wasn't COVID. But everyone was like, oh my God. And so we had her tested right away and it wasn't COVID. She just had a little, something, but she was fine.
Norovirus really scares the crap out of me.
Well, that's why it's good.
It's
They're not
bad.
doing the buffets anymore.
Yeah.
The staff is dishing things out. So that's going to be
good.
maybe a thing of the past too, because everyone now knows how to wash their hands and use hand sanitizer and cough in their arm. And so, I think it's going to be a healthier world going forward. So that's it. And then if anyone thinks of any questions, I'm going to keep an eye on the chat box. And I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie.
Great, thank you.
Nancy.
Yes, thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you.
I am going to share my screen.
Oh, wait, I have one more question for Nancy. Sorry.
Sure.
Yep.
Do we need visas for Ecuador?
No,
Okay.
That was easy.
just your passport.
That's a good question.
Of course, it could change, but if it does, I'll let you know.
Thank God for you keeping us on top of everything. We all really appreciate it.
Sure. Well, I read the news every morning, the travel news. So usually
I
I'll
have a
look-
question, Nancy.
Mhm.
I saw that in the, on the portal thing that you sent us, that if we wanted to bring an extra suitcase, but leave it in Guayaquil, that's
Oh, yes. I wasn't going to mention it because I'm like, well, who's going to want to do that? But you may want to. Yeah,
And like, I'm thinking of like my son's computers and work stuff and all that. So if we brought an extra suitcase, and would it be really secure there while we're on the
No.
trip?
no, I wouldn't leave anything of value. Nope, definitely not. They'll probably lock it in a storage room with tons of employees would probably have access to it. I mean, I've never had anything taken out of a bag, but I wouldn't risk it.
So what, do you have a recommendation for that?
I would keep it with you. For sure. And computer, yes, keep it with you.
But if we wanted to bring a suitcase of clothes, that would,
Yes.
you wouldn't have a problem with that.
Oh, yeah, no, I would leave anything, just like your carry-on. Anything of medications, anything of value, never leave it unattended.
And so how will we go about finding out how to do that then? Like if we arrive with 2 suitcases, who?
Oh, the
is-
front desk. They do it all
Oh,
the
so
time.
it's at the hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I've done that numerous trips. If I'm doing a side trip, I'll just leave my luggage. I would say, I don't know about any hotel I've ever stayed in, even the smallest hotel that doesn't have a luggage storage. They all have it and they're happy to store it for you.
So you don't think we should confirm it ahead of time or anything?
No,
Okay. So we just say they'll let us leave it there for the entire ship term?
Yep.
Okay.
it was in the documents, but I took it out because I didn't want to confuse people. So yeah, no, they do. They definitely allow it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So I just wanted to talk about what it's going to be like being on the boat for 7 days and nights. And so this is our actual boat. So this part of the presentation is for people who are going directly to Galapagos. And so this is our boat, the National Geographic Endeavour 2. It hosts 96 passengers.
I don't see anything. Sorry.
I'm sorry?
I'm just seeing like the time. I'm not seeing the picture.
That's weird. Can any of you see my presentation?
Yes, I see it.
Yes, I see a boat, 2 boats, a little boat and a big
Oh,
boat.
I don't see anything.
You should be able to see a full screen with a picture. It says the adventure begins.
Yeah, I see it.
I do.
No, so how do I do that then if I can't see it? I just have scheduling made easy, like a calendar
What device are you viewing on?
on a Mac. View
Huh.
options.
Honestly, I've never experienced that, so I don't even know where to begin.
Did you accidentally X out of these?
Are you still in Zoom, Nancy?
Mm-hmm. And I see your guys' pictures, but
Oh, you
then,
do? Huh.
But you don't see the shared screen.
no.
I wonder if you,
If you minimize the pictures, maybe.
Um,
Above the pictures, there's a minus button that you can push to get rid of the pictures.
Yeah, but then it just says scheduling made easy.
Oh,
I wonder if you X'd out of the screen altogether.
You know what? Try to just log out of Zoom and then log back in.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I've had that. Macs are a little tricky. I have a Mac.
How do I?
Just leave, Nance, just leave the session.
Yeah, leave.
Bottom right hand
Yeah.
corner, the red leave button.
See, it's like Nance, it's got me on a whole different.
You're not in Zoom, so then just go to start up Zoom again.
Mine just wiped out too. I
Really?
just lost my picture too.
That's really bizarre. That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
I'm on a Kindle.
I'm sorry this is happening.
This is really weird.
Okay.
I
and then-
think I can see it. I mean, now I'm looking at 2 seals and it says we are headed to the Galapagos. Is that what we're supposed to?
That's what I see.
that's
Yeah.
what I see.
So
Yeah.
now I'm.
Oh,
kind
there's
of-
the boat. Okay, we're back to the boat.
Can you hear me or no?
Yes. Are
Yeah.
you-
Oh, I'm pressing launch meeting and it's just staying on that screen.
No,
Launch-
You should be gone and then come back.
Yeah,
You have
leave,
to-
leave
Totally
when you
gone.
need.
Leave.
Well, I'm
leave
gonna
and
leave and come back.
And
Yeah.
you don't launch the meeting, you just come in.
How do I
You're-
get rid of you guys? I'm completely out except for you guys. This is like so weird.
Can
I
you
don't know how to
see-
get rid of you guys.
Oh, wait, whoever's the host of the
Oh.
meeting, you can get rid of Nancy Judson. You can make her leave.
Okay, so I'm going to remove you. I'm going to
Okay.
remove you, Nancy.
But then
Judson.
let me come back though.
We're
I
gonna
have-
click on the link.
If I do that, it doesn't allow her to come back. Let me see, what if I make you a co-host? And see if that changes anything for you.
This is the weirdest thing.
I got
see-
my,
I can
got
see you
my
guys
picture-
on the top of my screensaver, but there's nothing else.
I got my picture back when I left the meeting and came back in.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
Nance, can't you, Nance, just leave the meeting and come back in.
I left it, but you guys are still on.
No,
Like, I
you
can't get
didn't
rid of
leave
you
it.
guys.
You didn't
And
leave
You did
completely.
not leave it. If we're still on, you didn't leave it.
No,
You
you
have
guys don't understand. I'm literally looking at my screensaver. I'm out, but you guys are there, but I'm
No,
taking
you're not. We're not
pictures.
out. You're not
You're
out.
not
You're
out,
here.
Nance. Go to your little, down on,
Turn your computer off.
no, Nance, down on your screen at the bottom, do you see the little zooms, the zoom symbol?
God, hang on.
On your toolbar at the bottom, the little zoom signal thing, exit out of it.
What does that look like on my toolbar?
Oh, it says Zoom.
It's got it's a blue square with a white video camera inside of it.
Gotcha.
All right, now get out.
Oh, now it says the adventure begins.
There you go. See, you just
Thank goodness. And Amy, can you see?
Yes, I lost the picture, but when I came back in, it was back.
All right,
Oh my
guys,
God.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's
So
okay.
everybody learned
We're looking
something.
at it. All right.
That's funny. Okay, so as Nancy mentioned, you are going to get, you're probably going to get a box that looks like this. You can't see it. And it has all your important documents in it, including your luggage tags and your name tag, and your adventure begins. I saved this box because it was so special. Okay, so for people arriving in Galapagos, you will be greeted by the Lindblad Nat Geo staff at the Guayaquil airport and transported to the hotel. And then in the morning, we'll be transported to the airport and we're flying to San Cristobal, which was new. That was new to me, Nancy. It sounds like there's been a change there.
Oh, yep, there may have been.
Because originally it was Baltra. But anyway, so we're flying to San Cristobal, which is one of the eastern and southern islands of the Galapagos. And so when we fly to San Cristobal, we then will be transported by Lindblad to a port and greeted by National Geographic, their crew and their Zodiacs, which is seen here. And that is how we go out to the Endeavour ship and embark it. And then that will be our home for the next 7 days and nights. And so you want to make sure you don't forget your passport, your name tag, your luggage, your ribbons, your documents, and any proof of COVID testing that we may be required. And so where are the Galapagos Islands? Well, we are, Quito is the capital of Ecuador. Guayaquil is a huge city. And so we will be flying from Guayaquil, and the Galapagos Islands are about 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador. And so you can see San Cristobal, it's a southern eastern island. And from there we take the big boat. And this is San Cristobal. So I'm excited because I was actually there. So we were transported to the port. This is the Zodiac we got in, and then we went out to the mothership. And I just was overwhelmed with excitement. I had never been, I mean, just seeing the name National Geographic on a huge ship that I'm going to live on for 8 days is incredible. So this is what it looks like. Again, 96 passenger boat. So it's fully stabilized, and seasickness is typically not a problem because it is a larger ship. And there is also a doctor on the boat, thank goodness, which was part of the reason why I selected This boat and Lindblad is because there is a doctor in-house who can prescribe medications. But also importantly, the ship travels at night. And so I didn't notice that we were moving during the course of the day, which was wonderful, because we're traveling when we're sleeping, and then we wake up, excuse me, to a new island each day. I have a few photos of some of these rooms on the boat, just so you can get an idea of what it looks like. But it is definitely fully equipped to meet all of your needs. And by the way, we're leaving in 2 months, 3 weeks, and 5 days. I am so excited. So you can see there's an upper deck, a main deck, and there's a lounge. I'll just show you photos. So this is what the lounge looks like. This is where every day there are a couple of presentations. And by the way, everything you do on a Lindblad trip is optional. You do not have to do all the things, and you have lots of options. Everything was so exciting to me that I decided I needed to do everything, but you certainly don't have to. And so usually there's a couple of presentations a day, one around lunchtime and one after dinner, and those would take place in this beautiful room. There's also time in this room for cocktails, or you can just lounge around in this room, you know, in between trips during the day. It's a really beautiful, beautiful space. Oops. This is their, they call it the Global Library, and they also have a gift shop on one part of the deck. And I have to say the gift shop was awesome. They really did have not just souvenirs, but they had a little bit of everything you would need, like Tylenol and toothpaste and the necessities. So that was super helpful. And so this is another spot. Even with 96 passengers on the boat, I always had space. I always had places where I could be alone. And this is a place where you can go if you want some alone time. It was really, really nice. These are what the cabins look like. And I say this every time, but the wall decor was like, left a lot to be desired. Really beautiful boat. And then these like old school Galapagos photos hanging on the walls, but it added to the character. And the rooms, of course, the whole boat is climate controlled. You can adjust temperatures in your room. And it was very, very comfortable. And again, the boat moves at night. You close your shades at night, and you don't realize that you are actually moving. And so then how do we get to all the to and from all the islands each day? So what we do is we disembark on Zodiacs, those small boats that you see in the photo here. And the Zodiac drivers are incredibly skilled drivers. They really know what they're doing, and they're always looking out for you when you're in the water. And so when you're snorkeling, your Zodiac driver stays with you on the boat, and your boat is numbered. So you know which boat you belong to when you're in the water snorkeling. And also when you're snorkeling, there will always be a guide with you in the water, and you always have to be with a partner. So I hope I'm expressing how safe it is. You're always going to be with people, and it's a small group. I mean, I think only 12 people fit in the Zodiacs. So you'll be with a group of 12 with a partner, always with a group guide. And then you have your Zodiac driver also looking out for you. And you will learn safety and basic hand signals so that you can also alert other people if you see a shark, you know, or like there was like a hammerhead signal, so that you can let everyone know that they're seeing cool things around you that they might want to see. It was pretty amazing, pretty fun. And turtles, I can't remember, it was like flippers or something. They'll teach us all. They also teach you how to like say like, get me out of the water right now. No, I did not see any mishaps on my trip. I feel like it's very, safety is first and foremost. So here's an example of what the schedule looks like for a typical day. This was actually our last day. So the schedule is a little different than normal, but you can see, you know, there are options from starting at 6 a.m. through the evening. And so, you know, breakfast for photography groups with a special trip at 6:30 a.m. It states that it's a wet landing. And so that's great to know. That means your feet are going to get wet. So then you can dress appropriately, wear appropriate shoes for that trip. They let you know if it's an easy walk or a difficult walk. I can tell you that the most difficult walk was not difficult. It was about 2 miles on the top of volcanic rock, but it was all flat. And so an example of a difficult walk would be walking on rock for 2 miles, flattened rocks. So every day there are short trips and long trips, and you're going to get a schedule that is going to be placed on your bed every afternoon. And then you can look at your options for the next day and decide what you want to do. So you can see here, we had, there was breakfast for groups going out on a photography short walk, 6:30 a.m. stretching on the top deck if you want to, 7 to 8 a.m. breakfast for those sleeping in. And then at 8 a.m. they had a disembarkation for people going to the Prince Philip Steps trip. It was a dry landing and a long hike. And also, you're never walking quickly. There was a woman on this particular day who walked with a cane, and she was so embarrassed. She was worried about holding people up, and it was absolutely not a problem because we're not, I mean, everyone's on this trip because they want to see nature, not to just rush through it. So I felt like the walking was very easy.
And then when if you go on that long walk, you're still back in time to do the deep water snorkeling?
Yes, exactly. They space everything out so that you can get back to do all the other things. So yes, we always got back on time. And then some days they had two different two snorkeling trips, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, which I loved. If you're a water baby, you know, the opportunity to get into the water twice. And the snorkeling, they offered deep water snorkeling and bay snorkeling, which I loved. I preferred the deep water snorkeling because the clarity of the water was amazing, and I wasn't concerned about touching things with my feet, you know, and maybe disrupting marine life. And the water column is clear. There's so much life under there. Fish, penguins, starfish, sea urchins, sharks. It's incredible.
Was the water pretty calm?
The water was very calm. There was only one day when it was a little bit choppy, and that was the one day where the deep water snorkeling was, the water column was not as clear, and everyone decided to turn back just because we weren't seeing as much. But other than that one trip, the water was super clear, like just bright and vibrant. You can see so well with your snorkels. And then you can see, you know, in the evening, there's usually a couple of activities. Sometimes it's a cocktail party on the top deck. Sometimes it's a special presentation, and then they serve dinner, and dinner is usually followed by a special presentation by one of the staff. So you can see on this evening, it was a National Geographic photographer who gave a presentation about his photography. So the day is packed. It's so packed, but even so, there's time for naps. I know this for a fact.
Because I ask a couple more questions.
Yes, of course.
So if you're going on a hike and then you want to do the snorkeling, so is it best to bring your own, like a dry pack, or do they provide dry packs?
Yes,
change
actually,
clothes or whatever.
bring a dry pack. You'll have time. Sometimes it's not a lot of time, but you'll have time to go to your room, like get your wet gear off, put your dry gear on, and then be at the bottom of the boat, you know, to disembark the back of the boat, if that makes sense. You don't have, the good thing is you don't have to sign up for anything. You just show up. So if they say, you know, 8:15 a.m. disembarkation, that means be at the back of the boat by 8:15. And then they, you know, it's groups of 12 going into the zodiacs. So I love that you don't have to sign up, because when you wake up in the morning, you might change your mind. You might want to do something else. And there was always room. You know, sometimes if you get the last boat, there might only be 6 people in it, and that's great. Then you're just with a group of 6. So, but never will you be with more than a group of 12, which I thought was outstanding.
So you
Really-
always go back to the ship and switch out clothes. You don't switch out on the island, for instance, and where you would need to have your stuff in a dry pack.
That's correct. I definitely recommend bringing a dry pack with anything you feel like you might need. But yes, you will always go back and switch out and then get ready for the next thing.
So Stephanie, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So this itinerary, and I can tell because I recognize your screen setup from Wildcare. Does the actual itinerary give ending times for things so that you have a rough idea of when you get back if things cross each other?
No, it did not. I mean, they might now because this was 2 years ago, but pretty much they stacked it. So I feel like most opportunities were around an hour long. I don't remember any endings. I think I actually took this right from the printed day plan that we had. But that's a really good question. 12,
Like there's a 1400 on this that says for paddle boarding, and then there's a 1530. So you could do both, but you might be able to do both, but you're not showing anything. You're not showing choices here. You're showing the things that would go on in one day. Well, there's one choice in the morning. You do that 8 or the 8:15 thing, but there aren't like multiple things going on at one time where you might have to like figure out which ones you want to do.
Right. No, there weren't multiple things. You sort of have to choose. I remember having to choose, like if I was going to go on a short walk or a long walk, because occasionally they would be at the same time.
Right, I do see that in the morning, and then the rest of it looks like your choice is whether you go or not what you do, just whether you do it or not.
Exactly. And I should also point out for people who don't want to snorkel, there are kayaking opportunities. Then they also have a glass bottom boat, for people who don't want to get in the water ever. And so you can still experience the water without actually getting in it and getting wet. That was a great question, Amy. I was
Yeah,
impressed.
because like it doesn't, if you didn't want to snorkel, I don't see another option at 10:30. If you wanted to kayaking is until 2. So like if you don't want to snorkel at 10:30, I don't see another option of something else you can do, or you could go do a different walk. There's just not anything else here.
Right. Yes. So that was it. So you sort of have to look at it for the day. And if you want to go snorkeling, you'd have to go at whatever times they're offered.
Right. And if you didn't want to snorkel, it isn't like you can use that time somewhere else. You're just sort of stuck, right? You can just stay on the boat.
That's time to like take a siesta or have an early cocktail or something.
Right. So you just said if you didn't want to snorkel, you could kayak, but you couldn't do that at the same time. You just could kayak at another time.
Exactly.
Okay.
And thank you for breaking this down because I didn't think about that in this way, and that is really important.
Can I jump in a minute?
Yes.
I've been on a couple expedition trips, and there's always something to do. I know sometimes they'll have people on board, like I know with Lindblad, they have professional photographers, so it might be a good time to go through your photos. There's always, always something to do. I don't think you have to worry about being bored at all.
No, I'm not. It's not so much that I'm worried about getting bored. I'm actually a little worried I'm going to drive people crazy with wanting to do something like, say at 13:30, if I don't want to go to the photo instructor, but I'd rather be out and snorkeling, I can't do that because there isn't anybody doing that at that time. So I can sit on the boat somewhere and enjoy myself or read or something, but I can't go anywhere.
No.
If I don't, right?
Because they won't allow you on land without a naturalist.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
very strict on who's where when in the Galapagos.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that may change, if another boat gets delayed and you can't go to that island because there's already a boat there, they may change the itinerary.
Right.
that's how they're protecting the environment down there.
Yeah, then I don't mind that. That's just what I was trying to figure out. Cause like you said, there's always things to do, but there aren't always multiple things to do. In fact, so on this one, there aren't any times when there's multiple things to do. All you get to do is choose in the morning between 2 walks. And then the rest of it, these are the things you can do, or you could choose not to do anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly. And sometimes you don't have a lot of time in between, which I loved. There's something amazing about like just getting out of your wetsuit in 3 minutes and then being somewhere else and being dry. I don't know. That was a fun challenge. Like 12:15, I need to be in the lounge. I need to be dry. Okay. It was super.
So Stephanie, you talk about wetsuits. So what actually is the air temperature going to be in October and the water temperature? So we will be wearing wetsuits, you say?
Yes, and I think I have a slide. Oh yes, I have a slide about that here. So the air temperature in October is around 77 degrees. That's the average. And the water temp is around 71 to 73. So water and a little bit of the chilly side. They do provide wetsuits. They provide life vest. You will absolutely always have flotation devices getting in and out of the Zodiacs. They also provide this yellow flotation vest if you want one. They provide those. They provide the flippers, the mask, the snorkeling mask. You can also bring your own, but they do provide it. And I highly recommend head protection because you're near the equator and your scalp will definitely burn. We're the closest to the sun that we could ever be, other than, going up in like a rocket ship. Excuse me. So my head burned, and then I found this booby scarf that I wore on my head, and I absolutely loved it.
So just to be clear, like when you're bringing this stuff though, they do not provide a dry pack for you. Is that right? Or they provide a dry pack to put all your stuff in?
They do not provide a dry pack. It's on my list and a couple more slides from now. I'm sorry, just of what to bring.
Okay.
I highly recommend bringing dry packs.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Sure.
That hat's a great idea. Another thing, my forehead, I can't put sunblock on it. So I wear a buff like this when I'm snorkeling, but I lift it up so it's not under the snorkel. It's over the snorkel so it doesn't leak. And that keeps my forehead from getting burned. Just a little tip there.
That's a great idea. And also I recommend.
Can you show that again, Nancy? I didn't see you.
Yeah, I can't wear a sunblock on my forehead because it drips into my eyes.
Oh yeah.
So when I snorkel, I wear a buff, like a headband. And then my mask and snorkel, I'll just lift the buff over it so it's not tucked under the mask, because then it will leak.
Yeah.
Make sure it's out of your mask and over it and not under your mask.
Gotcha.
I just got a hat today that has a brim. It's for swimming, and it's like UFP 50, and it's like a scarf hanging from a brim. So you wear it in the water, you can put the snorkel mask over it, but also has a brim that really juts over your face.
Oh, wow.
It looks like it will work really well for that.
Great. Yeah.
That's
Called a
great.
Take some
Ugly bar.
pictures and post them after.
Yes, definitely. I highly recommend sturdy water shoes, especially for those wet landings. And also for being in the boat. Here I am wearing flip-flops, which is totally fine on the boat, but when you get into the Zodiac and you are snorkeling, the whole, the floor is wet, which is also why you need a dry bag for anything you want with you, like camera, phone, medication. Bring your dry bag, because everything gets wet on the Zodiacs when you're snorkeling, because you're going in and out. So sturdy shoes. I don't recommend flip-flops for the Zodiacs. And I think that's pretty much for that. Oh yes, and here is what their glass bottom boat looks like. And so, Nancy, do they have more than one glass bottom boat?
What, more than one on the ship?
Yes.
I don't know. I'll have to check with them, see how many they have. I would assume it's just one, but
I think it is just one. I did not go on it, but I thought it was a really wonderful opportunity for people who don't want to be in the water all the time. So what to bring? So in the Galapagos, it literally is the closest you will get to wildlife of anywhere on the planet. So what happens, and the woman who took me on this trip also learned this, when you bring like your big guns, your huge cameras, you really don't even need them. The animals are so close. She found that, you know, she was bringing lenses that were the animals were too close for her to use those massive lenses. So even National Geographic and Lindblad, they recommend like take your smaller cameras because you're going to be so close to the wildlife. We have to stay at least 6 feet away, but often, you know, they're that close. They do have computer kiosks there, so you can download photos, use a USB drive. I'm going to bring a laptop. You can certainly bring a laptop or another device. I highly recommend bringing a USB or other photo storage device so you don't lose your photos. A GoPro or underwater camera. For those of you who have seen my Galapagos presentation, I get amazing footage underwater with the GoPro. It was just incredible. And so I highly recommend an underwater device that you can take photos or videos with. Binoculars, obviously, Galapagos field guides, and I can send out some recommendations. Sunscreen and bug spray. I only got bitten one time in Galapagos. I did not experience any bugs. I was there in early December, and so I was thrilled with the lack of bugs. Wet dry bags, can't stress that enough, so important. Also, a protective cover for your phone, you know, a waterproof cover for your phone, head protection, and then bring only the clothes that you need. You can actually launder them on the boat. You do have to pay by piece, but if you put something in the laundry bag in the morning, they will have it folded and clean and on your bed by the evening, which was wonderful. So don't feel like you have to bring tons of clothes with you. Please bring extras of anything you might lose that you cannot live without. Because you are going to be on a boat in the middle, 600 miles off the Ecuadorian coast, and you will not be able to get some necessities if you lose them. So bring double the medication and double the toiletries. And don't forget the baggage weight limit that Nancy was mentioning for those local flights. And if you do not speak Spanish, that's okay, because everyone there at Lindblad speaks English, except for some of the Zodiac drivers. I've been taking Spanish for the past year, and I'm hoping to be helpful. Wi-Fi is available on the boat. I have to say it was spotty at best. They give you 8 hours of free service for the entire week, so 1 hour a day. And you can purchase an unlimited package. I think that was around $220. The Wi-Fi, you know, there are some days where they'll even tell you, you know, don't even try to connect today because we were in the middle of nowhere. So just so you know, if you plan to come on this trip and work and connect with the real world, it might be a little bit challenging. I highly recommend a mobile international day pass, which is offered by most phone carriers. For AT&T, it's $10 a day. They include Ecuador, and basically that means you can Wi-Fi or call or text, and it will only cost you $10. There are no extra charges. It is brilliant. It was my way to keep in touch with my family while I was there. Laundry, you already know about. The gift shop carries essentials like toothpaste and suntan lotion. So that is very helpful. Nancy already mentioned this, but they recommend a gratuity of $200 per person on the last day of the trip, and that's split amongst the crew. And a cool thing that they do is you will receive an email, unless they don't do this anymore, but I can't imagine that they would stop it. You'll receive an email that allows you to have your family and friends be emailed a daily expedition report, which shows what you did for the day, which I thought was kind of fun. My family loved getting the emails, saying where we were for the day.
Can I jump in for a second?
Sure.
One thing I did do when I went to the Galapagos, I did buy sunblock that was especially for fragile environments.
That's
Super
really
important.
nice.
I thought probably get it on Amazon. I think I got mine at Whole Foods.
I got this on Amazon.
Yeah,
It's for reef protection.
yeah,
Oh,
yep.
that's great.
Yeah, you absolutely need sunscreen that protects the reef.
Is that Blue Lizard? That's the best one. It's
Yeah.
Australian. It's a great
Yeah.
brand.
And it's
Ah.
for reef protection, which is so critical.
Yeah. And it doesn't have a lot of bad junk in it.
Mm-mm.
That's
Nope.
I will get that and I'll add that to this presentation also.
So they don't provide binoculars to borrow or anything like that, or underwater cameras or anything. You bring your own.
I don't think so. Nancy, do they have anything like that?
I have to ask. I would have to say no on the underwater cameras. But I'll check the binoculars. I know that one expedition cruise I went on, they did have binoculars. But I will double check that.
Great, thank you.
And it sounds like, so when I was there 2 years ago, it was buffet style dining, but it sounds like from Nancy that they've changed this and they now serve you. Is that correct?
If they do stick to the buffet, then the kitchen, the employees will serve the buffet. They won't allow people to touch the utensils or get.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when I was there pre-pandemic, it was already so, it was very sanitary. They give you hand sanitizer before you can even enter the dining room. Everything
wow.
was very, very clean. The food is incredible. Everything is local food from the Galapagos Islands because, as Nancy mentioned, they don't want to bring pests in. They're terrified of non-native species that could wreak havoc on the islands. So everything's local. And I say, don't skimp, like eat all the fruit, drink all the captain's cocktails, and just enjoy because it is extraordinary. It's the most accommodating staff. Oops, I'm sorry about that. Accommodating staff. They were absolutely lovely. And they pretty much wait on you hand and foot.
And you can wear anything to the meals. There's no dress up dining or any of that stuff on the cruise ship.
That's a great question, Nancy. You can wear anything. I was the only woman on the boat who wore dresses every night. I hope that's helpful. Just because I always wear a dress.
So you can wear shorts and a t-shirt and you're no problem.
Absolutely, yes. There was one dinner where we selected our foods, our dinner in advance, and it was served to us. It was a more upscale dinner. And even then, people were not dressed up. They were in their day hiking gear, super casual.
Is there like snacking available, like fruit snack during the day? Like
There
if
were-
you're,
Yes, there were
Oh.
fruit snacks during the day, absolutely. And beverages available throughout the day.
Okay.
That's a great question also. And this is what the top deck looked like. So some evenings they had captain cocktails on the deck. Some evenings it was sky, night star viewing.
They look dressed up to me.
Oh no, wait, this woman has a dress on, so I lied. Pretty casual. Oh, and he has a suit on. People were not dressed up, truly. The people I was with, I think they were embarrassed that I was wearing a dress. So I am so excited to travel with all of you. Now that we're getting closer, I was going to start sending emails out with information about, as soon as I know the islands we're going to, I can start sending info about the species we might see. I'll send info about, the weather, the hotels, just for fun, just information that you don't necessarily need to know, but I think you might enjoy. Is everyone okay with that, or does anyone not want to receive this
No.
information? Okay, awesome. And
Can
so
we get this, what you just went through, will we get that too sent to us?
this presentation, sure, sure, yeah, I'll put it on YouTube and then send everyone the link.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes,
Thank
please
you.
do that, because there's a couple from British Columbia that I just contacted, and they forgot actually that this was going on. So, but they would like to see the video afterwards.
Oh, yay. Oh, that's wonderful. They'll just have to scroll through when we had our Zoom,
Right.
our Zoom strategies.
Right. I'll tell them about it.
And so my role on this trip is just to make sure that you have a great time. I'm there to facilitate and answer questions because I've done the trip before. You do not have to hang out with me, and we do not have to hang out together. But I thought for those interested, we could maybe have dinners together, and that's a time to check in. We'll all have this, the printed schedule that was left on our bed. And if anyone has questions about certain trips or wants to know what others are doing, I felt like that would be a fun time. That would be a fun time to do it. I'm happy to ask questions, for you, for the crew, and just support you in whatever way you need. I'm really excited. And so $200 of your trip is a donation to WildCare that is tax deductible. And so thank you for supporting WildCare while you go to the Galapagos. And let's go. I got my email today with all the documents.
Stephanie, how many of us from WildCare are actually going?
We have 20 people on the trip.
Ooh.
Okay.
Except I don't know most of the people, which is so interesting.
I think I know a lot of them because they were my friends that I somehow talked into going with us.
I love it. So
And-
20 people. I'm sorry, what, Nancy?
20 out of 9. What'd you say? How many on the boat? 90?
96.
Okay, so we'll be a small subset. And will we do things on our own, just our group together, or is it just you're just a passenger on the boat?
So you really can do whatever you want because as you saw on the schedule, there are so many options. And so I don't ever want people to feel like we need to stay as a group, which is why I thought in the evenings we could all get together at dinner or after dinner in the lounge. And then if anyone has questions about the schedule for the next day, and I'll also tell people what I'm planning to do the next day in case you want to join me. But does that make sense?
Sounds good.
And also,
I know when we're like a group, when I have my groups and we're a subset of a bigger group, people see how much fun we're having and they end up starting to hang out with you.
that's so fun.
They're like, oh, we want to be with them. They're having so much fun.
I love it.
So you'll just let us know when you're wanting to do get-togethers and stuff, right?
Yes, I will. Well, I think once we see the schedule, they will send us the schedule, the daily schedule in this box, unless they've changed things, but that will only be like 2 weeks out. But yes, I think we shouldn't plan in advance. For those interested, we'll meet at X, Y, and Z, or we'll have dinner together and I can hold spaces at tables. But also I want you to know, Lindblad is like top of the line and you are going to be with National Geographic staff. So you don't want to hang around with me. Get your money's worth and hang out with the Nat Geo people and ask them a gazillion questions. Yes, so many opportunities. And that's a great thing to do in the downtime also is you will have National Geographic photographers on the boat. So if there's extra time, it's fun to chat with them, show them your photos, talk about photography. They love that. And that's what they're there for, like Nancy said. So does anyone have any Galapagos questions before I jump into this really quick keto presentation? Do I still have Amy? I can't see Amy on this view. I have Amy.
Oh, yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, great.
Am I off video? No.
No, you're there.
You're
Yeah.
there.
I've gone in and out of video because I've been having, Ben. Ben's been running at me with squeaky toys and things that I've been going out muting and coming back in.
I love it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of the full screen because I just want to show you a 2-minute Mashpee Lodge video that I think sums up the entire Mashpee Lodge experience in Quito. I just need to make sure. Okay, so share screen. Just need to make sure you can see it. I'm going to do full screen, and hopefully this should have good sound. This is an extraordinary video.
Quito, a World Heritage Site nestled in the heart of the Andes. The most beautiful colonial city in South America has a hidden, unexpected side. Travel to the forests, to the capital's northwest, and enter a sanctuary, Mashpee Lodge. A 1,300-hectare private reserve for just 44 guests, where you can almost feel nature's life-giving breath. A world still revealing its secrets to science, still mysterious, still magic. Our expert guides will take you on a journey of discovery into this biodiverse universe, home to innumerable creatures, great and small. By day, along forest paths, by rushing rivers, and through the trees. At night, the sets change like at the theater, and wonderful surprises await. Most amazing of all is the dragonfly. Where you glide through and above the forest on an innovative cable ride for over a mile. A unique way to appreciate the world anew. As a guest, you are part of our passionate concern for this endangered environment. Funding our scientific research projects and part of giving local people positive opportunities. The lodge is like a cocoon amid the clouds and forest, where enriching experiences blend seamlessly with award-winning, exceptional service. It's the welcoming space you return to after your explorations, to indulge, reconnect, relax. Mashpee, a proud member of National Geographic Unique Lodges of the World, luxuriously revealing the true essence of nature.
I love the music on that too.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share my screen again.
You're getting very good at that, Stephanie.
At sharing my screen.
Yeah.
You're
Bringing
turning
things
into a techie.
Thank you. I love that video. It sums up, it starts with old Quito, and then we make our way to the Mashpee Lodge, which is in the cloud rainforest. And so the pre-extension is, it's 6 days, but 2 of those days include travel time. So really 4 days in old Quito, and then Mashpee Lodge, which is in the cloud rainforest. And so for those of you flying into Quito on October 18th, Quito is the capital of Ecuador. It is absolutely beautiful. It is it's seated in the Andes, and it's actually an elevation of 9,000 to 10,000 feet. So that's something to
Sunblock.
consider. But Nancy?
Wear your sunblock.
Yes. Oh my goodness, wear your sunblock for sure. You're like,
I got burned because it was a cloudy day when I was there, and I didn't even think about it, and I got a bad sunburn.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're so high. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So this is an example of the view. These are the Andes Mountains. And the temperatures in Quito in October, it's around, the average is 68 degrees. They're very reasonable, livable temperatures. And the old city was founded in 16th century on the ruins of an Inca city. About 2 million people live there, and it is a UNESCO World Heritage Center. And I learned when I was there that they are major exporters, the biggest exporter of bananas, for one. Ecuador is, and also cacao, roses, coffee, and of course, petroleum. But anyway, the 4-day pre-extension, day 1 and 2, we explore Quito, which I'm going to show a few quick photos. And you are shuttled around and you have guided tours to different cultural locations, the San Francisco Mercado, and some of the beautiful sites of Quito. The Nacio Lindblad staff basically shuttle you around. And so on day 1 in Quito, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is included. On day 2, breakfast and dinner is included, but lunch is on your own. And so I just wanted to show you where we're staying because it's incredible. This building right here is Casa Gangotena, which is where we will be staying. And it's situated right here in San Francisco Plaza. This beautiful hotel was built in the 1600s, and it has this incredible history, which I will send to you all, and I'll send you a link because the history is extraordinary. But sadly, in 1914, the house burned down, and the Gangotena family, who had been living there for generations, they finally rebuilt it in 1922. And then the family had passed on, and the former mayor of Quito bought this beautiful home in 2007 and has kept it historical. So it looks similar to what it looked like when the Gangotenas were last living there. So he's preserved this history, and we have the blessing to go and stay there and actually see it. It is like walking into another time and place. The history has been preserved there. Something I loved about Quito is the Mother Mary is overlooking, she towers over the city and watches it. Here is Casa Gangotena. Up close, you can see it's basically a mansion that we'll be staying in Quito in San Francisco Square.
Wow.
This is the lobby. The place was extraordinary. This was the bedroom we were staying in. And my friend Elizabeth said, I'm going to call them because I think our room's too small. It's huge. There's the beautiful, I am not a religious person personally, but I was absolutely awestruck by this stunning statue that towers and watches over the city. So colorful streets of people and places. They call her the Virgin of Quito. And there's a long story about that I won't get into, but she's holding a chain, which she used to defeat the devil, basically. She's the mother of the apocalypse. It's stunning. I can't remember how high it is, but it's absolutely breathtaking. We will go into the San Francisco Mercado, which is a large, like a community of local vendors indoors, where they're selling all their fruit and their native Ecuador foods. This is a view.
Stephanie,
Yes.
did you have any trouble adjusting to the altitude in terms of breathing?
I did not. And for some reason, I was really worried. I thought that I might go there and die. I'm not kidding. I was so stressed about it. I was researching. I bought glucose tablets. I bought, oh God, what is it called? What is the tea that everyone in Quito drinks, Nancy?
Mate.
Mate. I
Mate.
bought mate tea, which I still have some. If it's still good, I'm happy to share tea bags with all of you. Yes, yerba mate, which I think, didn't it, the original had cocaine in it, I think.
Yeah.
Would definitely help all of us with altitude. It'll help us with a lot of things.
Yes.
Just don't eat it.
That you probably have to buy that kind there.
Just don't eat it, because I had it in Peru, for the altitude, and I was like chewing it and swallowing it, and that made me even sicker. So
Oh no.
I'm going to quickly say goodbye to everybody because I'm getting too jealous of this whole thing.
Oh,
Bye,
bye.
Thank you very much. I look forward to
Let you
seeing
know
you guys
about the
later.
diving.
Nancy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So what was I going to say? Oh, the altitude. So I felt okay, Rose. My friend Elizabeth did not. You definitely notice that even just walking, basic walking.
And
feels-
Elizabeth is older than you, right? Because
She
I think
is.
the older you get, the more it can affect you because your lung function is not quite as good as it was.
Yes. The good news is we didn't walk at any elevation. I mean, we're already elevated, but we never walked uphill. And then
Oh,
when we did walk through the town, there was a lot of stopping. It was a slow pace, which was great. I mean, I think they understand that most people, it takes time to acclimate.
Mm.
right.
Is
Okay,
it
that sounds good.
10,000? Is it 10,000 feet, Stephanie?
In some places, yes, between 9,200 and 10,000 feet.
I've
I
done that in Wyoming, and you don't notice it until you decide to get up and walk somewhere. It's like, oh, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I just walked across the road.
It's definitely tiring. I mean, just doing the basic things. I
Yeah,
agree.
but
There are
you do get used to it after a little bit.
totally, and there were elevators in the hotel, which is really nice. They did add that since the 1600s. They rebuilt it. So this is a view from the top of our hotel. And so how this worked, I put this in at the end, but most of us are arriving late on or early morning, wee hours on the 19th of October. And then
Right.
that day we will have guided tour through the city with National Geographic. And then the next day there's probably going to be some kind of excursion. And then we would travel to Mashpee Lodge, which is a 2-hour journey from here. And by the way, you then go down to like sea level, which I was very confused. I thought we're going to a cloud rainforest. I thought we were going
Yes.
higher. Like my head's really
Oh,
go up.
it's lower.
It's lower. It's like, I want to say almost sea level.
Oh my
I thought
gosh.
it was 6,000 feet or something like that.
I'll Google it.
Or maybe 5,000.
Anyway, it's much lower. So you
get a break.
you get a break.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you've already acclimated for a couple days at a higher level, so you should really be feeling pretty good by then.
Right.
Exactly. And the great news is after Mashpee Lodge, we then come back to Quito and have a night there. And at that point, you're like, this is a piece of cake, 10,000 feet. It's nothing. So, okay. So I'm going to shift now to, and I think we lost.
Oh, it is at sea level.
Well, I wrote that because that was from memory. So
Oh,
I should not have written that. We need to Google it. So it's a 2-hour trek to Mashpee Lodge. It's a beautiful trek. We stopped, there's bathroom stops. We stopped at to see some Aztec ruins. And it was very lovely. It is very windy the last hour. I just want you to know this in case you want to have Dramamine, the daytime times. Anyone gets car sick, I just want to be honest with you. And then you arrive at this beautiful lodge and you're greeted, and this is the dining hall that you walk into, which is absolutely extraordinary.
Mashpee Lodge is at 3,117 feet.
Thank you, Amy.
that sounds good.
So Mashpee Lodge, then this is what a typical bedroom looks like at Mashpee Lodge. The food was out of this world, absolutely both beautiful and delicious. And they do have vegan and vegetarian options. It was buffet style, except for we did have a couple of sit-down dinners.
Do you have
And-
options? Stephanie, do you have options on the dinners, like things that you can choose? I am a really, really picky eater.
Yes, so many options for either
Okay.
for the buffet and also for the dinners.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can say like, if you don't want a sauce on something or something like that, can you say that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Just remember, if you were to come here by yourself in October, it's $1,000 a night.
Oh,
So what happened was I was being so nice, as I am, I think. And my friend Elizabeth was like, Stephanie, I paid $1,000 a night for this. Like, if you want some extra peanuts, ask them.
Right, right.
Yes, they will do anything for you. I've never met such accommodating people. So what Mashpee Lodge is it's also a series of hikes and things you can do. And so we don't all have to stay together. But I found that it was ideal if we do stay together as a group, because then we have one guide and you get to know that person. And so we can, we'll figure that out once we get there and see what the opportunities are. But one of the treks that I did was we did a hike to what's called the Life Center. And this is where we came to this opening in the cloud rainforest, and they put out like bananas and papaya for all the wildlife to come in. And we saw these incredible birds. And I know you guys saw my big slideshow, so you've already seen this, but I'm going to try to remember names. And this was the crimson rumped toucanet. And so, this is the first bird I saw at that life station. It was amazing. This is a broad-billed motmot. This is a Tara who is making off with the papaya or bananas. This is an agouti. These were all
Gucci.
agouti. What a little beauty, like a little guinea pig.
It's cute.
So cute. And so we can decide. I'm happy to stay with you all as a group, if everyone decides they want to do the same thing. And so it's just different excursions, seeing different types of wildlife. And this is what it looks like. And I told you all, you already know about the sky bike, which is optional. And here's where it's 2 people and you pedal across. You're 600 feet above the rainforest. And it's absolutely incredible. There's opportunity to see birds while you're up there, sloths. I thought I was going to die, and I did not. It's perfectly safe. And here's your view. And also you can see, I think, up to 13 different species of hummingbirds. And I think we saw 8 or so during that trip. It was incredible. This is a cinnamon bacard, just wildlife everywhere. And so what to know, the pre-extension, you already know the costs because you're all coming with me. The hikes really are moderate to advanced level. I would not say they are easy, and that is because some of it is uphill, not straight uphill, but some of it's uphill. It's always wet conditions. We're walking at a slow pace. And I can tell you that the guides will accommodate you. They'll drive you as close as they can to a site if you are having difficulty. But a lot of these sites are remote, so they're not going to be able to drive you directly there, if that makes sense. I just want to let you know, I never experienced, my feet weren't, I never slipped or anything. It was very good terrain, but it's just wet. Everything's wet at all times.
Stephanie, did you wear shoes that were heavier than sneakers?
No, you know what? I brought Keens
Uh-huh.
to hike in, and I ended up just wearing my sneakers the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Okay.
Because the bottoms are good. They're not slippery. So, but Keens are good, or hiking shoes. Also think about just the wetness. If you bring shoes that aren't going to be able to dry out quickly, that's probably not good. But also Lindblad, they gave us, not to keep, but to use, they gave us, I wrote hiking boots, but actually it was rain boots, headlamps, ponchos, and a water bottle to keep. And they gave us bug spray to keep. And I
Oh,
saw,
good.
yeah, I saw on the itinerary that they are giving us a water bottle again. I don't know about the bug spray, but I assume for $1,000 a night, I have a feeling they'll give you bug spray.
Are there hair dryers in the hotel?
I believe that there were, and on the boat as well. Nancy, do you know?
I will find out. Like, actually, let me try Googling it and see.
The only reason I ask is that I had to stay in Venice, Italy at one point in like November, and we had agua alta, and my sneakers got wet every single day, so I would dry them with a hair dryer at night.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I vaguely remember hair dryers, and if not, I can bring one. I have a travel one I'm willing to share.
I don't have a travel one. That would be great. I think it'll be fine, especially if they give us rain boots. That will solve a lot of problems.
That was really helpful. There was one evening where I opted to do, it was an amphibian hike, and it was pouring, it was magical, and they gave us headlamps. But if you have a headlamp that you love, or one of those photo cubes that are really, really illuminate, please bring it, because we will have probably an option to do one of those night hikes.
Mhm.
Yes, hair dryers on the ship in each
Good.
room. And if not, you can always ask and they'll provide one for you. And same with Mashpee Lodge.
Okay.
Awesome.
Stephanie, did you just say to bring a headlamp?
You don't have to, because they give you one, but if you have something you really love,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
that's super bright, and Elizabeth had those cubes that you use for photography that illuminates everything, and it was amazing. I also don't want to blind the amphibians, but it was an amazing tool. So
Stephanie, what kind of tips do we need for the hotel in Quito and the travel guides and Mashpee Lodge, all that kind of stuff?
at
That
Mashpee,
will be in the documents too.
oh good.
Oh, great.
Mashpee Lodge, they had recommended $50 for your guide. I don't know if that is still the same. We can look in our documents, but they recommended $50 per guide, which was so worth it. I mean, because they're
Oops.
go above and beyond. Oops, we lost someone.
No,
So
I'm
you
here.
don't need gratuities like in the restaurant or the hotel restaurants?
No, because costs includes, this is Mashpee. This is Quito and Mashpee. Meals as indicated, porterage, soft drinks, bottled water, private guide, transfers in Quito to Mashpee Lodge, tours, lectures, hikes at Mashpee Lodge, waterproof poncho, rubber boots, water bottle, gratuity to guides and naturalists.
That's great.
And at Mashpee Lodge, let's see, we arrive day 3, and that includes breakfast, lunch, dinner. And it says we're going to look for the frogs. Day 4 at Mashpee Lodge includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Day 5, we have a morning at Mashpee Lodge, and then get back to Casa Gangotena with a lunch stop en route. I don't ever remember paying any gratuity for food.
And the money is American dollars, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That makes it easy.
Mm.
We should look in the document though, that Nancy referenced.
No, it's US dollars in Ecuador.
I mean, the gratuity, the information about gratuities.
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay. Yes, and then day 6. Oops, that was the end of my presentation. Day 6, we transfer back. And we fly, well, we get transported back to, I can't talk because I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. Transported to Guayaquil to then
Guayaquil.
take the flights to San Cristobal and then
Oh,
embark our ship.
I just lost, you did lose my picture. Sorry. There we go.
So when we come back, we'll be back in Quito for a night and can have a nice dinner. And then the next morning we leave, go to Guayaquil, get on the plane to San Cristobal, and then embark the ship and start our journey. Day 6.
Sounds good to me.
I can't wait. Get us on there.
Oh,
Yeah. I just love it's going to be so luxurious. You know, it's the most lavish thing I've ever done.
Me too, by far.
By far. Once in your life, you should do something like this. It's great. So.
I'm excited for all of you.
Yes, you should be. We are all excited for everybody.
yes.
And
So
we-
is the ship going to be, is the boat full? Is the 96 or 4 whatever passengers? I think this is for Nancy.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh,
They still have, they're still showing some space and I'm
Okay.
still holding group space, so. But people
I
are
was
really travel has just blown up. People are going everywhere.
yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully it'll be okay. We'll see.
So they're not trying to hold down the number of passengers on the boat because of the COVID, like to half passengers or 2/3 or.
I can check that, but I'm not sure.
It's not necessary to check it. It isn't
They're
necessary.
requiring
Don't-
everybody to be vaccinated and tested, so.
Nancy, is there anyone else other than this group who's going to Quito with us?
Yes, one other couple, I believe. Yeah, I think it's just one other couple. I think there's seven of you.
Okay, I know the Tiniuses wanted to. Are they the other couple?
No,
Is that the Whitesides, the other couple?
yes, I think it's. the
Yeah.
White-
Yeah, those are
Oh,
my friends
good.
from British Columbia. And the one